Welcome back everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're doing another seasonal championship, this time hot hatch time machine. I'm afraid I had the film in my mind there, and yeah, we're in C-Class retro hot hatches, and yeah, while playing this game I've been haunted by the spectre of a drivatar that is driving a car that is yet to be featured in the game. You will have seen it just then at the beginning. It crossed my path as it went left. It's basically a 1980s Mercedes that we are getting in the Festival of Playlists in the future, and I am dying to actually drive it, so yeah, it's a bit annoying that I keep seeing it, but nonetheless it is a car I'm looking forward to driving. But yeah, this GMC Typhoon is currently my favourite car to drive just when I'm free roaming about. Hopefully we'll find another car that's even greater or just as great to replace it. So yeah, let's see what cars we're going to be going in.
Considering it's spring and we're in the UK, I can't guarantee good weather for this championship. What I can guarantee is that it'll be fun come rain or shine.
So we've got a couple of Acuras, basically American Hondas, the RSX Type S and the Integra Type R, the Ford Escort RS Turbo, a couple of actual Hondas, the Civic Type R and the CRX SIR, Peugeot 205 Rally, the Renault Clio Williams, and a pair of Volkswagens with the same engine, a GTI and a Corrado. So yeah, we're going to go for the Peugeot first. It's a car that obviously got introduced via the Festival Playlist a couple of months back. But yeah, I've been dying to actually race it in one of these videos, so let's get going. But first we'll take a look at what it's got. It's got 99 horsepower, 87 pounds-feet of torque, with a 1.3 litre inline-4 naturally aspirated engine, but it weighs only 1,742 pounds, which is easily the lightest car here, even if it is the least powerful car here as well. So yeah, let's see what it can do, and yeah, hopefully it won't disappoint. It's a great car nonetheless. The stats do not do this car justice. Yeah, it apparently can only do 0 to 60 in about 9.6 seconds, but it feels a lot quicker than that. Primarily down to how light the car actually is. Plus it's extremely small. A lightweight car, and it's really rather small. Is going to make up for the power deficiency. We'll have to see. Keeping up with most of the cars so far. Being so lightweight, we're going to have far better braking, better turning as well. Because even though a lot of the weight is at the front of this car, today there isn't all that much weight at all anyway, so yeah, that really is not a problem. But turning in too soon before the checkpoint certainly is. That's just me getting ahead of myself there. Before the car whatsoever. Another Peugeot 205 right up front. Not to be pessimistic, but this is probably the closest we're going to get to a 205 GTI. But I do live in some hope that we will get more hot hatchbacks like that on this game. The fact we've got this one at all is still a really, really good thing. We need more French cars, particularly ones from Peugeot and Citroën, because we have plenty from Renault. Obviously we've got a load added in the space of only a month or so. Festival Playlist or other means, and yeah, which I'm all fine with, but still desperately needing more Peugeots and Citroëns, and hell, even more from Alpine as well would be really good. Sure, we've got the new one, but Alpine has a long history of making cars. We've only ever had 3 different Alpines on Forza games. So we've had the new one, we've had the old one from the 70s, and we had that GTA Le Mans version from the 90s. They're the only 3 we've ever had, so it would be nice to have some more. Hell, there's also other French car manufacturers that have never been on these Forza games. Venturi, I think, is another one that we haven't had. Alpine are the only cars you could ever class as French supercars. obviously Bugatti is somewhat classed as French. It's definitely classed as French on here. I'm not sure if it's actually 100% French now because it's obviously owned by VW, but yeah, they obviously make hypercars more than supercars. EB110, Veyron, Chiron, generally more classed as hypercars than supercars. Yeah, I do hope we get some more cars from France at some point. It seems to be one of the countries that has been left behind in Forza games more than any other, to be honest. Obviously Spain hasn't had all that many added because they only really have Seat and Spania, but I wouldn't be opposed to having more from them either. To be honest, all I'm saying is basically more cars is better. And I hope the new Forza Motorsport game has a whole lot more cars. Not just in terms of numbers, but also variety and geographical wise, more around from the world. Surprisingly, this car, despite only having 99 horsepower, is keeping ahead of the pack. Like I said, this car is far quicker than the stats would ever lead you to believe. Such a nice car to drive, this. 99 horsepower from a 1.3 naturally aspirated inline 4 engine is not half bad, especially from the time that it was from. So here we go, the Peugeot coming through there with a win, and a pretty sizable one as well, nearly more than a second ahead of the Escort RS, which has 31 extra horsepower than we do. Another Peugeot 205 in third, then the Honda Civic from 97, and another Ford Escort RS in fifth. So yeah, really impressed with that Peugeot there. So yeah, nonetheless, let's get on to the second race. So despite the Peugeot being the least powerful car to choose from here, it gave us a solid and comfortable first place position. And it seems like we're going to be on a rally circuit for this one, so we're going to go for the Escort RS Turbo. Yes, it's heavier than the Peugeot, but it now has 130 horsepower and a massive 133 pound-feet of torque from a 1.6 litre turbocharged inline 4 engine. So yeah, heavier, but also substantially more powerful than the Peugeot. Still front-wheel drive though, but yeah, the fact it doesn't even weigh all that much, even in comparison to the Peugeot, is obviously going to be helpful. And as you can see, acceleration is better, even though handling and braking is worse. But top speed is also better, so let's see what the Escort can do. See if it can shine on this rally stage. This is another one of those cars that I'm really glad is part of this game. I've longed for having a 80s Escort on the Forza games, especially one of the more lower down versions like this. I say lower down, obviously it was one of the faster Escorts from the time, but in comparison to, say, other powerful Fords from the 80s, certainly wasn't the most powerful going. I mean, the Sierra, for instance, from the late 80s, was certainly more powerful than this. It was also a far bigger car as well. This really does have lightweightness and nimble, you know, size on its side. Really. The water is, yeah, inevitably really rather treacherous for us. Being so low down and so little in weight, bound to be slowed down by the water. Alongside one of the Ford Escort's competitors, the Scirocco there. I guess a Scirocco anyway. Fair bit of understeer then into that corner. on. Speed. Problem with this car though in comparison to the Peugeot though is that it's not naturally aspirated. Granted the turbo does give it more power and torque, but it also means that you have to be in the right gear at the right revs to really get the most out of the turbocharger, which isn't always the case in a race. Again though, the Escort seems to be the most popular car here. V6 Corrado is leading, which has even more power than this does, and also more weight as well. Come on, gain on it. That V6 just has a bit too much more power than us. And once again, a Ford Escort is in second place. So this time it is me, not an opponent. And yeah, the Corrado beats us there. Not by much, certainly not more than a second like we were ahead in the previous race, but we are second nonetheless. And another Escort in third, another Corrado in fourth, and then another Escort in fifth. So yeah, it was a shocker as well in seventh place that we passed earlier. Yeah, as you can see, the Escort RS is easily the most popular car here, which is no surprise. It's reasonably powerful and reasonably lightweight as well, so yeah, I guess that is no surprise. So yeah, that gives us 16 points. We are still 4 points ahead of the Corrado, and 6 points ahead of another Escort RS, and 10 points ahead of another Corrado, and a massive 18 points ahead of another Escort RS. So yeah, it's all to play for though, still in the third and final race, so let's go see what happens. Right, so since we were beaten by a VW Corrado, I think we're going to actually get in one. It's a reasonably good car, to be honest. It's easily one of my favourite cars from the 90s. It shares the same engine as the GTI up there. It has 178 horsepower, 177 pounds-feet of torque from a 2.8 litre naturally aspirated V6 engine. And yeah, it's not even all that heavy either, 2,734 pounds, which isn't bad. Even the GTI there weighs a little bit more and has less power and torque than the Corrado, despite having the same engine. So yeah, let's get in it and see what happens. I remember driving this in one of the first races on Forza Horizon 2, I think it was. I think you got the choice to choose from a few cars at the start, and this is the one I chose. So yeah, it's always been a favourite of mine on the Forza series, and yeah, still is pretty much, to be honest. It's a high revving engine as well, sounds pretty good as well. Naturally aspirated V6 engines from before the 2000s generally do. Far better for the water than the Escort was. Three Volkswagens are leading at the moment, 2 of them red. We've got a brace of Escorts behind us and then GTI as well. This car handles so well, it feels like it's got all-wheel drive a lot of the times because there's not much understeer, and yet when you throw it into a corner it doesn't really oversteer either. Doesn't understeer if you're good enough at driving it, which I am not, clearly. Yeah, I'll always love the naturally aspirated V6s from VR6s from Volkswagen. They really are a dream to drive. We're up there with Alfa Romeo and their V6s. If you're wondering why it's called VR6, then I recommend looking it up. I can't quite remember myself, but I did mention it in the review of the GTI that shares the same engine as this. Yes, I think I did. A while ago. Yeah, it basically helps put a large engine into a small body car. The way that it's made. But the brakes do not seem to be all that good, or maybe I just braked a little bit too late. Finally gained on the older Scirocco. Even though I do like the look of that car, it's no doubt that the 16 valve version from the late 80s is better than that version. Let's go catch up to this fellow Corrado now. This is another one of those cars that I wish was fully viewable in Forza Vista. It's always one that I've wanted to review. It's one thing I'm hoping with the new Forza Motorsport game, that because I've had more time to work on it than usual. And obviously they're also now making it for the Series X, that every car is viewable in Forza Vista. Which would be the ultimate dream for someone like me who really does love stock cars on racing games like this and reviewing them as well. And I know full well that reviewing cars on a game might seem a bit stupid or, you know, inconsequential, because at the end of the day I'm not driving it in real life and not able to test it in the parameters of real life. But yeah, I think it just is a nice way of looking at a car in a game, really. So plenty of people do not drive cars stock on these games, believe it or not, which is fine. I'm all for people playing a game like this how they wish, especially if it's in regards to single player. But I'm a massive fan of driving cars stock. It's quite frankly the closest you're going to get to actually driving a load of these cars, and upgrading them to ridiculous specs just seems to be removing yourself from that experience, as far as I'm concerned. The likelihood of me driving one of these that is stock in of itself in real life is highly unlikely, to be honest. But because I've kept it stock in this game, I can still enjoy the engine noise, can still enjoy the way it handles, and yeah, still enjoy the kind of speed and acceleration you'd expect from a car like this in real life. So sure, it's not 100% realistic, but it's as close as I'm going to get, and to ruin that as close as I'm going to get experience by massively upgrading cars like this, even for a race, really my sort of way of playing these games. But obviously when it comes to doing other videos and being online, obviously upgrades are necessary, and that's fine. But when it comes to my own single player experience, I like to do it this way, and hope you guys enjoy seeing it like this way as well. Whoa, overcuts it there. Hopefully this isn't going to cost me the championship. I mean, it shouldn't. We should draw alongside if we've got the 4 points between us, but yeah, nonetheless, second place for the Corrado there, mostly down to my over-exuberance with the handbrake. But we are 2 points ahead nonetheless, so yeah, we win the championship, and we get a classic racing suit or whatever, which really I'm not bothered about, but if you are, then yeah, free races and it's yours. But it also helps contribute towards the festival playlist, which there's a couple of cars that if you haven't already got already via the festival playlist, you can get your chance to get them, and this will work towards that. And yeah, really fun races. These cars are really rather fun in a lot of ways. They're the classic hot hatchback of, you know, plenty of power but also all of the practicality as well, and that is a winning combination as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, the three that we drove are three of my favourites. So yeah, nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.